Thank you, Sophie. Hi, good morning to you all. I hope you have a good morning or good afternoon or evening, wherever you are. It's nice to meet you. I'm David. As Sophie mentioned, I'm also an application specialist here. And today I will show you the Brite Ultra system. For this, indeed, I will have 1 or 2 videos to show you how such a system, you can already see it a bit behind me, how such a system can be used in a real life setting. I will show you some slides just to highlight some technical aspects and to go through a bit of a setup already with you. And in the end, we will completely go through the complete software, how to set up a measurement, everything that you can do or cannot do to get you to know the system better. So let's start with a short teaser video. Enjoy. So there I am again. I hope you enjoyed the video. It already shows you some cool aspects, but of course not that much yet, which is why today we will show you the complete system. But first, let me tell you a bit more about this. So the Brite Ultra fNIRS hyperscanning system, basically, as you can see on the slide, it's meant in simple words for big group fNIRS research. You can see it already on the right image of the slide that this kind of system is really developed to be able to perform fNIRS hyperscanning experiments in all kinds of different settings. For example, a classroom setting. You as a professor might be interested to know or to find out if your students, after an hour of lecture, are still paying attention to you. Or, for example, it could be used in a group of people that are high functioning and are, for example, shooting a rocket to the moon, like in a NASA control room, to study the interbrain synchrony between these kind of people. So in a lot of different settings, this system can be used. You can connect up to 30 participants with it. All the data will be perfectly synchronized, and you can measure with any cortical area of interest. This is because the system, or the system in general, uses our Brite MK3 fNIRS systems. You might already be familiar with it. And with these Brite MK3s, you can measure anywhere you would like. This can be frontal, occipital, can be on the motor cortex, wherever you as a researcher would like to be able to measure. And this whole system, and when I talk of system, I'm talking about the card itself, which you see behind me, but also about the Brite MK3s. I'm talking about the tablets that come with it. Everything when I'm talking about the system has been developed to be able to really use it in any situation. So if you want to be able to measure just on 12 people, or on 24, or on 16, that's all possible. Other than that, I don't know if you, no, you don't see it in the camera, but this card is on wheels. And this means that you can easily transport it anywhere you like, to a different university or somewhere else. We've transported it ourselves quite easily so far. So this whole system is really meant to be able to measure in any study situation you would like to do. So when talking about all of your participants, all of these many brains, they all go through one hub, you could say. So all of their data, all of the fNIRS data is being synchronized by the hub you see behind me, and you see it on the slide as well. This hub creates its own Wi-Fi network that's being used to connect all of these Brite MK3s, and all of the data is perfectly synchronized. And all in one measurement file. So, of course, we have a very dedicated software for this. We developed it from scratch. We put a lot of hard work into it to make it as easy to understand as possible. I will show you later on exactly every aspect of the software. But good to know is that all the port asyncs and all the Brites are being synchronized in real time, so you can measure in real time. You can check the data quality of, for example, a single Brite on participant number 8, for example, but you can also check the data quality of all of your participants simultaneously, so that you get a good overview of the general data quality. And of course, since this is a recording-only software, you can export your data. I will show you how later on. You can export your data to fNIRS format to be able to analyze it in whatever toolbox you like. So to already give you a very, very short walkthrough of how. So basically, you set up the devices on your participants. You connect them to the software, which is just 2 buttons. Basically 1, actually. You just press the on button, and they will appear in the software. They will connect automatically. Of course, you also need to press an on button on the card, but that's not very hard to do. So you connect them all to the software. The coordinator, which is a certain role we have, which I will come back to later, will design or will assign all of these Brites to several groups, so that the assistants, which is another role, which I'll also explain later, can choose their group they have been assigned to on the tablet, and then they can make sure that the data quality of their small group of participants is ready, basically. And they perhaps might need to adjust some uploads, and just in general check if the data quality is good. They will mark it as ready. I will show you later how to do this. And basically, you as the head researcher then will just be able to click 1 button, which is start recording. You've briefly heard me mention this before. So you can also connect up to 10 portasyncs with the system. And these 10 portasyncs can be used to either insert events. They have a high press button and a low press button, but they can also be used to synchronize the fNIRS data with other neuromodalities, like EEG, for example, or you can even use it to synchronize it between a VR headset and your fNIRS system. So these synchrony devices, portasyncs, you can also connect them easily within the software and use them how you like. Let's talk a bit about everything that's included, because this might be confusing yet. I hope to make it a bit more clear for you. So everything that's included, like with all of our packages at Artinis, everything that's really needed to be able to start measuring will be included in a package. This, of course, includes the Brite fNIRS devices you need. Obviously, without that, you're not getting very far. This depends, of course, on how many you would like. So there are different configurations, but they are included. The software itself is included as well. The software is sort of license-based, but not for just a few years or something. So this software really comes with the package. You see the card behind me. This obviously you get as well. It's a movable card with a touchscreen monitor. And you get a few tablets as well. I have one of them over here, and you can use them, or your assistants can use them to just walk around and being able to simultaneously connect to the software. Other than that, a few portasyncs are included. How many, again, is dependent on which configuration you would like. But in general, this is what the package contains. Of course, all the other needed accessories to be able to measure, like head caps and optoad holders, all of these things are included as well. But these are the main things, which is why I wanted to give you an overview of them. And now we're back at the first slide. I have a short video to show you. It's a video of how in Utrecht the system was used in a real-life setting to do some interbrain synchrony studies. And it's quite interesting to see. Hope you enjoy. Hi, there I am again. I hope you enjoyed the video. In this part, we will go through the software. First of all, I don't know how well you see it on the camera, but it's not following me. Yes, it is. So right here on the table, I have a few Brite devices just lying there. I have one on a head cap, which is on the mannequin, just so you'll be able to see it a bit better. I have one on a head cap, which I will put on later on, just to show you some better data quality than, of course, the fNIRS devices that are just lying on the table. And right now, the way this is set up, you will be able to see me in the camera and to basically show you the system. But since it's probably quite hard to show exactly what I'm clicking on, we've also connected the software to the presentation, so you will be able to see what I am clicking. So let's get started. This is the home screen of the Brite Connect Ultra. And right here, the first thing you will see is that you can either pick your role as a coordinator or as an assistant. The way we've developed this whole software and the whole measurement workflow is so that it is as easy as possible for you, because fNIRS studies are complicated enough, let alone hyperscanning fNIRS studies. So we've really done everything to make this as easy as possible. And one thing we thought of to make it a bit more easy is that you can choose to be a coordinator or you can choose to be an assistant. The coordinator, as the word suggests, he or she is really the coordinator, coordinating the whole experiment. When you choose this role, you will be able to see all of the Brites, in which I'll show you later on, and you will be able to oversee everything. If you choose the assistant, you can choose a group, and then you can make sure that your group has good data quality. So let's get started. We will start as the coordinator to show you the first step, basically, in setting up everything, which is the measurement settings. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to give the recording, we need to give it some name. So let's, for example, give it the name Brite Presentation 2, for example. So we have a name for our recording, basically, so that we can afterwards easily find back all the data that was stored in this recording once we start the measurement. Right here, you can see that we can choose, as with all of our devices, almost all of our devices, you can choose what opto template you would like. Right now, the one that is selected is the 27 channel one. If you want to see how to set up this template in the head cap, you could click the enlargement icon so that you can see which transmitter needs to be next to which receiver. Basically, if you know our devices like it is with our other software packages. You can also always get to this screen, that's perhaps good to know, you can always get to this screen without any Brites being connected. So even if you just want to practice, or the day before you start measuring, you want to already set up everything in head caps, you can already go here and set it up a bit. For today, we will choose the Brite 2x12, because that's the opto template I have put in the head cap, and that's why we will use that one today. But as you can see, you can use many different ones, even including those which include short separation channels. So a lot there is possible. Next thing we can choose from is the opto distance in our head caps, and in the way our head caps are made, are with pre-made holes. The 30 millimeter distance is often the best choice, but as you know, you can easily make your own holes in our head caps and choose any distance you would like, ranging from 20 millimeters to 35 millimeters. For today, we will let it be on 30 millimeters. The next thing, portasync events, that's quite an interesting one, because a lot with these small portasyncs, I have one right here, A lot with them is possible, as I told you before, with synchronizing other data streams or with putting in events. And that's what this is all about. So there are two choices right here. You can either choose global events or individual events. Basically, the difference between them is that if you have more than one portasync connected, you could choose to, if you would like, to set them to individual, and then at the portasync tab, here you will see both portasyncs I have connected. There you can then set different kind of events for different button presses or button releases for different portasyncs. Or if you would like to have just all of your portasyncs insert the same event when, for example, the high button is pressed, then you set them to just global. Don't worry if you think this is all very interesting, David, but I'm going to forget this anyway. Doesn't matter. If you click on the small indication here, it will give a short explanation of all of these events. For today, we will put them to global because it's just me inserting events anyway. I don't have anyone else here. So last but not least, you can also put some comments in here. Like, I don't know, I hope you enjoy. I don't know, you can put anything in there. It's just a text field. You can put any comments you like. So that's it basically. So for setting up the measurement settings, that's it. If we want to put some portasync events in here, we can do this as well. So with the portasync, you can either, I don't know how well you can see it in the camera. You might already be familiar with the portasync, but we have a high press button and a low press button. But we can also, if we click it and then release it, so we keep our finger on it until a certain point, we put the finger off, then a certain event can be put in as well. So with the high press with label H, which is preset, but we can change this if we would like it to be P or O, doesn't matter. We can give it some description, like start, for example. So then this label of the event, this event label is set with the description as well. We can also put something as a release if we would like to. So for example, if we want to have an event there when I release the button, we can put K in there, for example. Same is true for the low button. We can have some label for the low press and some button for the low release. Let's do Q. And I haven't set the descriptions, but obviously you can. This way you can set portasync events. Now, if you again think, David, this went all a bit quick, you can just easily quickly click on this icon right here, and it will show you the complete explanation of what everything is and how you can set it up. Okay, that's about it for how to set up the settings. If we then continue to the dashboard, you can see all the Brite devices that are now connected. And what I just did, by the way, I forgot to allow one to reconnect. So I tested it before this whole presentation, and then I disconnected it for the system. But for this, I needed to allow it to reconnect, so that now all Brite devices, they are now connected to the software. I turned them on while you were watching the Utrecht video, the video where you saw the system in real use. But basically all I did was press the on button and they connected to the system. As you can see, we have 9 Brite devices right here, and we have 2 portasyncs. And let me come back a bit to how we did a lot to make this as easy as possible for you as a researcher, and how I talked previously about these coordinator and assistant roles. An important part of this is that you are able to put these Brites, if I select them, I have now 3 selected, that you're able to put them in groups. So let's say these 3 Brites belong to group 1. And let's say these 3 Brites belong to group 2. and so on. These 3 brights can easily go to group 3. And then, for example, also the portosyncs, you can easily select a group for them. So you can put them in this one, for example, in group 1. And let's put this one in group 4, for example. Oh no, wait, I've made a mistake. We don't have a group 4. You can easily select it again and choose a different group. So it's very easy to assign Brite and portosync devices to a group. It's very easy to select them all and give them a completely different group. It's very easy to, again, select the whole group and completely ungroup them if you want to be able to assign them again. Now it looks a bit weird though. I have a group 2 and a group 6, so let's put this one back to group 1. This one is now group 2, and let's put these 3 to group 3 then, so that it's a bit more logical again. So basically that's mostly what you in the beginning as the coordinator, which I am being right now, are doing. You select devices and you assign them to a certain group. Of course, you will have to tell your assistants also, like, hey, you should please make sure everything is okay with group 1, you with group 2, etc. Then there are other few interesting things you can do here from the dashboard. Obviously, you can start the recording, but we will not go there yet. Another interesting thing you could do is if you would like to know where, for example, this device is, or for example, where this device is, then you can easily click the locate button, which is quite a handy tool because, as said previously, you might perform these hyperscanning fNIRS studies in large rooms with a lot of people sitting at different locations or standing at different locations, and you might want to know, hey, data quality of this Brite 25126, for example, it's very low. I want to see what's up. My assistant hasn't had the time yet or cannot manage, and I want to find this person with this Brite. What you then do is you click the locate button, and let's see, it's this one. So it will start, I don't know how well you see it in the camera, I'll move a bit closer. It will start flashing purple, basically, to show you, to give you a very clear signal, like where this Brite is. It will continue for a few more seconds. In the meantime, I can also choose another Brite I want to locate, which is now, you don't see it on the table, but another Brite on the table is now lighting up, basically. So that's one interesting thing you can do here as well. Another good thing to do, or that you can do, is mark them as ready. This is normally the role of the assistant. So what we mean with mark as ready is basically what it says. This person with this Brite is ready to go. Data quality is good. He or she knows everything that's going to go on, everything that he or she needs to know. The age and the subject name or the patient ID are set, so everything is ready to get started. And then you can mark a patient as, or participant as ready. Then you will see a small icon in green, and then it means this one is ready to go. We can also mark it as unready again, because as I told you previously, this is actually the job of the assistants, which I will show you also how to do. And of course, we can also insert an event in the measurement. We can give it any label. We can give it a description. We can assign the event to a certain group or just to a certain Brite. Basically, that's it. Good to know is that the point you click the event, that's when the timestamp is being put into the data. So you don't need to worry about being as fast as you can with assigning the label and the description and everything. No, that's all fine. You can just click the event and then take your time assigning it, basically. Let me for now cancel it. Then there are just a few more things to explain about this dashboard. One that you will have noticed perhaps already is that you can see an indication of data quality. We have good, sufficient, and then we have a few warnings if there's too much light, too little light, or too much ambient light, for example. And the icon on the right here, so I've selected this one. I don't know if you can see me pointing very well, but the icon on the right within the dark green bright rectangle, basically, that's an indicator of the data quality of that certain bright. Later on, when we've turned them all on, we will see this again, and then I can again mention it, but I thought I will already let you know now. Then you see a small Wi-Fi icon here as well. This basically indicates that these bright devices are connected, their connection is good. If I were to walk away more than a lot of meters with one, then you would see the connection icon going down a bit, and at a certain point it will tell you, like, hey, cannot find this device anymore, I will try to reconnect. But for this, you would really need to walk out the door and keep on walking a bit before this happens. It's a very strong signal. Next to that, you will also see the battery indication of the brights. Obviously, for this presentation, I've charged them all, so the battery is quite high. One of them is a bit lower. I forgot to charge that one, for example. But it still has enough battery to get us through this presentation. So that's it for the dashboard. Before I continue to the other parts of this software, like the Brite and the PortaSync, which I already showed you a little bit, let's go back, because right now I would show you what to do as the assistant. So the assistant can have a tablet, which I have right here, and on the tablet you also see exactly the same as on the software, on the monitor, and also on the tablet you can choose to be either coordinator or assistant. Obviously I will choose to be the assistant, but since I want to show you what I am clicking and doing, I will choose to do this on the monitor. But normally you can also do this on the tablet, which is often being done by the assistants. But if you as coordinator, as the lead researcher, would like to use a tablet and being able to walk around, that's also perfectly fine. So let's choose the assistant, and the first thing you will see is that I can choose which group I should be the one to make okay, basically. So let's select group 1, and then it will immediately bring me to this Brite and PortaSync overview. In group 1, I have 3 Brites connected to my group, and I have 1 PortaSync. And I can click them all to see the details of this Brite or of this PortaSync, and to continue to make them ready for the real measurement. First thing we would need to do for this is to turn them on. I believe you can also press locate here. I believe that's this one. Yeah, so this is the one I have ready in the head cap, so I will put it on later on to be able to show you some good data quality. But let's start practicing with the Brite that's just on the table. First thing you can do is you can turn it on, and it will immediately already tell you that there's some missing information. So it will tell you that you would need to fill in a subject ID and an age for this participant. The age is being used to determine the DPF value in our calculations to get to the relative oxy and deoxyhemoglobin values. And the subject ID is just so that you know this person had this Brite and was this part of the study design. So you can set something, you can give this, I don't know, patient ID or subject ID, you can give it some, I don't know, 007, something, and the age, let's set it to, let's say 36, for example. What you see here right now on the big screen is the template, which is wrong, I now notice, because this is the 27 channel template. So we would need to quickly go back to the home screen, pick assistant, pick my group again. And right now you will see the correct update template, which is actually the one that's in the head cap right here that I'm going to wear very soon. The data quality Obviously, it's all too much ambient light, as you can see. That's what the color indicates. This is because this certain bright is this one, which is not even in any head cap. It's just laying around here, and therefore obviously it will have bad data quality because it's receiving all kind of ambient light. Let's get started with the bright I'm going to wear. So I can already put it on.
David?
Yeah?
The camera didn't follow you.
Oh. I need to make it sure, and make sure it's following me again, I believe. Thanks. I did not notice. Okay, so I've put on the camera. No, I've not put on the camera. I've put on the head cap. I need to wriggle it a bit back and forth to make sure that these optodes are going through my hair. I have quite thick hair. First thing I will need to do is turn on the bright, but let's first put in subject ID. Unfortunately, 007 is already taken, so let's put 008 here. My age, for example, is 28. So now that we have the subject ID and the age all set, we can turn on the bright. And you will see that even though I have very thick hair, most of the channels are good already. One of them, for example, still has too little light. A few are sufficient, and most of them are just good. I can just use the 0 button, which you might be familiar with, which just resets all traces to 0. It doesn't change your data, but just it changes how you look at it. So right now, we see a very nice heartbeat. I'm of course talking and moving a bit, so you see it fluctuating a little bit. But this is in general, this is very good data quality. Let me again try and see if I can find the ones that were not completely sufficient yet. And one trick I can use for this is the auto power as well. This auto power is an algorithm that calculates the optimal power level of each transmitter and channel combination. For example, on people that have a bit of a darker hair, you might need a higher power level. Or on me, for example, I'm blonde, you might need a bit of a lower power level. Or on the forehead, you also might need a lower one. The system all does this automatically for you. So I can just press it, and it's now calculating this. So right now I have good data quality. 2 channels, as you can see, are still only sufficient. But let's say we continue. And obviously now you continue for all of your devices, you turn them on. It will still again tell you there's missing information. Data will not look that good because they're just lying here on the table. And let's say I, as an assistant right now, I am done, I'm finished. And without, so to not just be able to stand around, but also help a few others, I can also choose to go to a different group and help my colleague get set up as well. So that's basically how it for the assistants looks like. They can turn them on, they can also set certain events. They cannot choose, for example, as you can see, for which group they want to insert an event. Right now I'm selected to group 2, and I can only, as you can see, select group 2, where I want my event to be in. I can also, let's see which Portamon this is. It's this one. I can also, when I go to Portamon, I can insert an event. You can always see it, so I can turn on this bright. It will tell you things about missing information. All the LED lights are turned on. And if you look at the data, or you look at mine, for example, which looks a bit better. Let's look at this one. Then I would need to choose this porta sync to press the low button or the high button, and as you can see, the events are being put in the data in this group, because this certain porta sync is connected to this group. That's basically it for the assistant. Now let's get to the exciting part. Let's get back to the coordinator role, and let's really start a measurement. So we'll go back to the home screen, pick coordinator, and now go to Brite. This is basically the overview the assistant sees as well, but you as the coordinator, you can see all of the Brites and not just the ones of your group. The dashboard, as you can now notice, this is what I talked about earlier. This icon on the right side, it shows you the worst signal quality of that certain Brite. So even though, as you might remember, all of my channels, almost all of them, actually all of them are fine, but just one or two are still in the range of sufficient data quality. And therefore the Brite will show the one with the lowest signal quality. So that even though all of the data quality is good, if there's one still bad, one channel, that you still notice as a researcher, and you don't get an average of the data quality, because then you might miss a very important piece of information, right? Not all Brites are turned on. Certainly not all of them are marked as ready, which is something the assistant should have done, which is something I forgot to do. So we go back to group 1, and let's say I am now ready to get to continue with the experiment. My data is all filled in. My data quality of the fNIRS signal is good. And then I can mark this person as ready, so that the coordinator sees this in his or her overview when all of the Brites are ready. What we then propose to do, but that's of course always up to you, once marked as ready, we propose to just turn off the Brite LED lights, so to turn off the transmitters. The Brite itself is still turned on. It's still connected to the software, but the Brite itself, I will do the same here. The lights are basically turned off. This is to save power. Even though that these Brites can measure for a very long time, your setup might take longer than you anticipated. And to save battery, you can basically turn them off again after marking a certain Brite as ready. So if you now go back to the coordinator role and we go to dashboard, one of them is marked as ready, which is me. Actually, this one as well. I marked 2 Brites as ready. What we can now do is just start the recording. It will tell you a few things, like low battery. 66% is still enough to measure for quite a long time, but in case you wanted to measure for hours, it already lets you know, hey, you might not be able to make it with this one. There are also a few it will let you know that are not marked as ready. So then it will tell you, hey, your assistants did a good job, or just they did forget to mark it as ready. And then you still can choose as the coordinator, and you have every control there is as the coordinator, you can still choose to start the recording. So right now we're starting the recording. All Brites are being turned on. You'll see the one that I have right here that has in the lowest channel sufficient data quality. The ones that are on the table next to me, not so much, as you can see with these colors, and the legenda that is right here. And right now we can still go to the Brite overview. I can, for example, look at the one I am wearing right now. Let's look at this one. So right now we are measuring. We're not in any study design right now. I'm not doing any real experiment, but we are doing an fNIRS mass hyperscanning system. I have 9 Brites here, 2 porta syncs, but it can go, as I told you before, it can go way higher. Basically, we can insert an event in this group. In this group, because I'm now coordinator, I can choose whichever group I want. Let's put the B here, for example, and put it in there. So you can see it in a green line in the data itself. It will be in the event list as well. I can also, since I put this all to global, I can just put a low event in here. You will not see it in this certain graph because this PortaSync has not been assigned to the same group as this Brite has been assigned to, but it will turn up in the event list of all events. So you are able to see all events that come up. And basically that's it. We are now recording. We went over how to set up the whole system, how to change things in the settings, that you should save the settings. At the dashboard, you can see the complete overview. You can control everything. You can immediately go to the Brite overview. You can choose any Brite you would like to see to check it if everything's going all right. And that's basically it. It sounds all very complicated, but once you've done it once or twice, it's very straightforward, which is, we've put a lot of effort to develop it this way. Yeah, that's it. So when we go back to dashboard, then we can stop the recording. It will tell you to, do you really want to finish the recording? You can say yes. Right now it will ask you, do you want to shut down all of the Brites, which in this case really means that they are turned off, not only the LED lights. If you are performing multiple experiments on a day, this might be good because it saves you some battery. And instead of dismissing them one by one and turning them off one by one using the Brite as a button, you can now choose to shut them all down. However, I will not do it because perhaps I want to show you later on something in the Q&A session. So for now, we'll let them all stay connected. And then we can go back to the home screen. We can go to the recording files, and here we can see our most recent one, which is the new recording 45. We measured for about 2 minutes. We measured with 9 Brites, 2 PortaSyncs, and we can easily export it to the SNIRS format. In the meantime, I will put off my Brite so that hopefully the camera can follow me a bit better again. At the SNIRS export overview, you can choose if you want to select to only export data from group 2 and group 3, or perhaps only from group 3, or perhaps you want to have it all. So all the Brites, but not this one, for example. So then you can easily select which Brites and which participant data you would like to export or not. Right here you can see 007 and 008. You can see the participant ID so that you know which one you want to export and which one you don't. If we now click export, it's downloading it. It will tell you literally, which is quite interesting, it will tell you literally where to put the USB stick to download your data on a small USB stick. It's in the monitor itself, it's right here. Let's say I've put one in there. You can click continue, and you can give it some name, and you can really put it on the USB stick. Yeah, that's it. I propose to get started with the Q&A. I'm curious to hear if there are any questions.